Welcome to Behind the Curtain, Nashville's movers, shakers,
and tastemakers.
Brought to you by Chord Real Estate, your key to the heart of Nashville. I'm Steve Luther alongside my co-host Van Hohe.
Here we peel back the layers of Nashville's vibrant scene, sitting down with the innovators, creators, and leaders who shape our city. From music to business and everything in between, we dive into the journeys that have brought them to where they are today.
We're here to uncover the stories behind the success, the passion driving their pursuits, and why they've chosen Nashville as their stage. It's about the people who dream big, push boundaries, and make this city truly unique.
So join us as we explore the heart and soul of Nashville through the eyes of those who know it best.
Well, today we're excited to feature Jennifer Turner, a visionary leader in the performing arts community. As the president and CEO of the Tennessee Performing Arts Center, Jennifer has played a pivotal role in enhancing Nashville's cultural landscape. With a rich history of leadership positions across prestigious arts organizations, she brings a wealth of experience in theater management, event planning, and community engagement to TPAC. Under her guidance, TPAC continues to thrive as a beacon of artistic excellence and innovation, offering a diverse array of performances that captivate and inspire audiences. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
A
Thank you for
beacon.
having me.
I love it.
Beacon.
I know. It's quite a glowing description. Thank you for that.
Oh my gosh. How did we get Jennifer Turner here today?
You know, you just asked, and here I am.
I love it.
Good
Well,
to be here.
Tell us what inspired you to get into arts management.
I did not intend to get into arts management.
Ooh, do tell.
Arts management found me. It really started out, I was in college. I was working at an arena studying law. I thought I wanted to be an attorney. And I just got a school job, extra money at an arena, and got to do concerts and backstage and marketing and front of house and guest services.
Some of my world.
Yeah. And, stock backstage riders, which was fun, or fill, the dressing rooms. And I helped a guy with a circus work on his taxes once.
I love it.
Just all the weird, quirky things that happen in live entertainment. And after college, I decided that law was not the path for me. And I went to look and see. I missed live entertainment. So I went to see if any arenas were hiring. And I didn't find a job in an arena, but I found a job at a theater. And I really didn't, I thought I'd last maybe a little couple years and then move over to sports and concerts. But, I really found that the arts were just so, I don't even know. It was overwhelming at first. I saw an opera get put together for the first time, all the different pieces, and then to watch it come together on stage. It was incredible. I've never seen anything like it.
Wow.
And so that really kind of caught the bug. And I just started doing all sorts of jobs, anything that I could. I would raise my hand, and then the career found me. And that's how I ended up in art.
Did the opera, did it have the subtitles?
It did, yeah. It did.
Have you ever been? It's incredible.
Well,
yeah.
It was Aida. It was my first
one. Oh, wow.
It was really cool.
Now, were you pre-law, or did you get your law degree and then change?
No, I was pre-law. So I went to Michigan State University.
Oh, really?
My wife went to Michigan State.
Another Michigander.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Everywhere we go, she'll see. I mean, there's a lot of people from Michigan that have moved down to Nashville, and she's always just like walking up to random people, "Go green." I'm like,
"Go white."
Come on,
that's right.
How is that a thing?
It's a thing.
Hey, they knew where to go because it's good here.
You're from here.
Yes. You put your palm up and point. Yes, I went to Michigan State University, and my major was law and society. I was a social science major.
Wow.
And when I graduated from college, I wasn't sure where I wanted to go to law school. So I got a job at a law firm called Bigler, Berry, Johnston, Steekiel, and Hunt.
Wow.
Say that a million times. And I
talk about a beacon.
Yeah. They were, they were a great firm, great people, but I just realized that wasn't what I wanted to do. And, I just knew that I missed the live aspect of entertainment and performance. And, it was something that I just had done, for so many years in college, and it just kind of called to me.
What city was that first theater in?
Detroit.
Really?
It was.
Okay.
It was a opera company that renovated an old movie theater and built an opera house. And it was downtown Detroit, and it was well before the revitalization of the downtown area. So there wasn't really a lot around there. But while we were, right after the theater was renovated, they put the Detroit Tigers built Comerica Park right across the street. And then the Detroit Lions put the Ford Field next to that. And then now they have the hockey and basketball just a couple blocks away. And there's also 5 theaters within that like little concentrated area.
Perfect.
So we got to do so many cool projects there. We produced the 3 tenors at the old Tiger Stadium.
Wow.
So they did like stuff at our building, and then we got to actually put on a big 3 tenors outdoor concert at a baseball stadium. It was amazing. Great experience.
So what was the path from those early theater days to becoming the president of TPAC?
So I spent, some great time in Detroit, and that's where I got promoted a lot. And I did a bunch of different jobs and kind of worked all over the company in different roles, and learned a lot about management and the art. And we had a dance series as well, and Broadway. So I got to learn a little bit about all of these different art forms. And then we had worked on a couple of projects while I was there. We had built an office tower, and then we also were taking over a parking garage, which I know doesn't sound super exciting, but to me, they were really interesting projects that talked about how to increase the capacity of the organization. Like having the parking garage gave the organization financial revenue streams. It also allowed us to control parking in an area where we were competing against sports teams and others. So it really sort of intrigued me to the business behind running an organization, and what kind of things you needed to be successful at the management really and operations of a nonprofit arts organization. So I had the opportunity to go out to Chicago and work for a college that was building a performing arts center. And I really wanted to be involved in the construction piece of it. So I wasn't there for the design, but I got to go during construction, move there, became the head of all their theaters on campus, and really got to understand like what kind of decisions go into building a theater, how many seats, the acoustical choices that you make when you're building a hall for music or
it's amazing, isn't
dance.
it?
It's a lot.
It's a whole science.
It's incredible science, and it all has to work with the design and the building materials.
That's right.
And so we, we had a great team, but I was kind of, I would say the person who had to navigate the decisions between the music departments and theater and community users. And so it taught me diplomacy, I think, more than anything, and how to get people to agree on things that are vastly different. They all had different interests. And so we had to get them to come together and compromise on some things. So setting up the operations was great. I got to hire a team. At this time, I'm sort of dating myself, but we opened online ticketing, which was early in its infancy then. But we were selling tickets not only for all the events on campus at the theaters that we operated, but we were also selling tickets for some community groups and others. So after I did that for a while, after the theater was up and going, it sort of lost the challenge for me, and I was sort of on to what's next. So I got an offer to go to Washington, D.C. and work for Shakespeare Theater Company, and they were also building a new hall. And that was really fantastic, being again, a part of a producing company like I was in Detroit, where we actually created the art, we hired the artist, we produced the work. And I love that experience. And plus, we were building a new theater, and we were engaging with community, and we were trying to find opportunities for small and medium arts organizations in the District of Columbia and surrounding area to basically capacity or audience build. So we were looking for small companies that were maybe performing in like a warehouse or a small space to be able to build enough audience and move to a larger, sort of more professional theater. So that work was exciting because it's really talking about building out capacity and looking at arts organizations and helping them grow and thrive. So it was not just limited to what our organization could achieve, but what our organization could provide in terms of leadership for a community. And that was the most interesting part to me.
Wow.
So you stepped into the role at TPAC in 2019, I believe.
I did. I had a couple more stops. I'll try to go through them briefly.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
I went back to Chicago and was the COO of a 1889-year-old historic theater, the Auditorium Theater, which was the site of many iconic rock and roll shows through the 60s and 70s. And then in the 80s, it became sort of a sit-down home, one of the first outside of New York for theater producer Cameron McIntosh to do long-running Broadway shows. So Cameron would bring shows like Showboat or Miss Saigon, and they would just sit in Chicago. And that was the first model of kind of touring Broadway that sat in a theater outside of New York or London.
Very cool.
So that was a great building. It had so much history, just really dedicated patron base, and it meant a lot to the city of Chicago. And from there, I went to California and ran, I was the managing director of a multi-venue campus. So we had a concert hall that housed a symphony, a philharmonic, and a chorale. And then we had a Broadway dance house that did a robust Broadway season, a dance season, and concerts and other things. And then we also ran small venues around that. We were a part of an arts complex, and we opened a plaza with an outdoor stage.
Very cool.
That was all leading up to my recruitment to Nashville to run TPAC.
No wonder with that resume that they wanted to recruit her here. My goodness.
It's a lot of information.
I love it.
So you step into TPAC and the world goes crazy.
That's true. It did.
Yeah.
2019, 20, right in there.
Yeah.
That was like the perfect time, right? To be taking over a venue with thousands of people wanting to come into a room.
Yeah, it was a big leadership change. You know, my predecessor, Kathleen, wonderful woman, had been there for 32 years, 16 as CEO. So, you know, when you have a big leadership change like that, you know, someone new coming into an organization with
and then
new
a pandemic,
ideas,
you know.
Yeah, well, first a tornado, actually.
Oh, that's right. That's
we
right.
had the tornado.
That's exactly right.
That was a really interesting experience too, because we had heard about the pandemic actually from our colleagues running venues in China.
Oh, okay.
And it was very similar to H1N1. So we had done a lot of preparation on H1N1, and we thought, oh, this is going to come up again. Let's dust off all those H1N1 plans. You know, we're going to have some redundancy in staffing. Let's order sanitizer. Let's, you know, do some more enhanced cleaning. So this was all happening in like January, February. The tornado came at the end of February. And then we have staff members, we were giving them time off to go volunteer on tornado cleanup. So they were getting exposed. Yeah,
we did some of that.
To COVID.
Yeah.
And bringing COVID back. So it just was kind of the perfect storm of things happening and then having to shut down for pandemic and trying to figure out then what is next for the organization. And that was 9-10 months into my job.
How long were you closed?
We didn't have Broadway for 18 months.
Wow. Isn't that incredible?
Months. But we weren't ever really closed.
Okay.
I mean, we were, I want to say we were scrappy and creative. I mean, we converted all of our education and community programs online. My team came over and filmed me in my kitchen doing a cooking class. I did wine tastings on Zoom. I mean, we did everything we could to engage with the community. Council member Terry Vo and I were on doing a thing about
Terry.
the what was it? The Cherry Blossom Festival.
Of course.
I mean, we did everything we could to stay connected. And then our education programs went online. We filmed 3 movies. We had a immersive tech experience that was virtual in our halls. We wrote a strategic plan. We kept looking at how we were going to prepare for the next chapter of TPAC with our building project. So we kept really busy. And then to open the theaters, we were under capacity restrictions. So instead of seating people, 3 seats, 4 seats away from each other, we worked with Studio 10 to come up with a cabaret on stage concept. So we would sell these small, intimate experiences, but still socially distanced with Broadway stars that didn't have any work to do and wanted to come to Nashville and do these intimate shows. And we're actually on our 4th season of those cabarets that came out of just bringing people back together before a pandemic. So we started those in May, and then our first Broadway show, which was 18 months after we closed, was The Band's Visit in October.
Very cool.
So what were some of the most impactful initiatives that you introduced kind of through all of this?
So we really focused, I think, on really 4 sort of things: our brand and our identity, and really making sure that what we did as an institution really fit who we were and our values. So we changed our programming mix quite a bit. We used to do a lot of concerts and a lot of like kind of one night shows, and we launched a family series, a theater series, a dance series, and we were very much looking to be anything that had more of a theatrical brand to it. There's a lot of music venues in town, but we have the performance stages to do things that are more theatrical. So we focused on our brand. We focused on fundraising as a nonprofit. That's really important. So we had to make a case for it, like why we're important to be supported, what we do for the community, our impact, our programs, the way that people consume arts and how it benefits them in their lives. I mean, those were all really important things, but we had to be able to articulate that and make that case. So we worked on that. We worked on defining ourselves as an anchor institution, and how we see that is there's hospitals, there's schools, there's fire stations. Those are all essential. You have to have those things in your community. And to us, you have to have the arts too.
Absolutely.
And it's not just for what the arts does and access and how it feels. Those are all really important. But it's also jobs. It's also, a company is not going to make a decision to move their company here if they don't have access to visual, performing arts, culture, all of those things. It's a quality of life. So we consider them just as essential. And we also wanted to look at our relationships, like how we were engaging with community. And then our programming, of course, as I've already talked about, being very intentional about our programming and really engaging communities and making sure that our community was represented on our stages.
So what's been your favorite event or production in your tenure? Like what was one that stands out?
At TPAC or just ever? Let's do TPAC.
Both.
I would say it was pretty soon after I got to TPAC. We were getting the first run of Hamilton, which was super exciting.
I thought she might say Hamilton.
It was super exciting. And I think we had a big event for the community that was around the ticket sales and when tickets went on sale. So we had ticket sellers set up on our stage. So we had queued people up in a big line, and they got to go on the stage and buy their ticket and take a big photo with a big ticket. And it was super fun, and people were excited, and I loved that. But even more so when we had Hamilton here, I had just been to see the show in another city. I won't name them. It was a Midwest city, but they were, it was fantastic. It was a great show. I had seen Hamilton before, but it was fantastic. But the night I saw it open in Nashville, it was New Year's Eve, and I'm sitting in the audience, and I'm like, this feels like a different show. Like it's more, I don't know, more energetic. The actors were a little looser. And I'm like, it's the same cast. There's no cast differences. The show obviously hasn't changed, but there's energy, there's excitement, there's sort of a lightness to the performance that I didn't notice at the other performance. And it's only 2 weeks later. And so I asked the cast, we had a dinner for them a couple days later, and I said, what was different?
Right.
And they said the audience. They said we fed off the audience here, and this audience really just it lifted and elevated our performance in a way that's really special. And so that is the difference with live performance. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what kind of experience you're going to have. And you're just as the audience is as big of a part of the outcome as the people on the stage.
See, it used to be the opposite. Bands would hate playing Nashville 20 years ago because they would say Nashville's audience was the worst because everybody would just sit there like this and just nod. It was different, back in the day, everybody was, in the industry, and now you got everybody coming to Nashville to see all the shows. So
I thought bands hated it when they threw song title like "Play My Song."
Yeah, well, there's that too. Yeah. There's that too.
Yeah.
So live theater, crazy things can happen. What's some of the craziest things that have happened?
Do tell. Inquiring minds want to know.
Gosh. Just recently we had a production of Beetlejuice, which was pretty much sold out, and it's opening night, and they're in the middle of a scene, and all of a sudden one of the actors like, we have to exit the stage. We have to get off right now. Oh my gosh. And I'm thinking, what happened? What went wrong? Happening? And it was, now these sets are touring with all of these, bells and whistles.
Sure.
These, lighting systems, and the stage floors are all automated, and all of this automation. Well, automation sometimes fails, and it's live performance, and they had to reset their whole lighting system. And so it was a little bit of a stoppage, but everybody just kind of hung in there and was very cool about it. And, they came back out, and it was great, and it worked.
I love it.
Yeah, and the show was great, and it didn't impact the the end result. Yeah. And then when I was in California, we actually had an earthquake.
Oh wow!
And I was sitting.
Did they incorporate it into the moment? Did they just go with it?
They went with it. It was Alvin Ailey, and they were dancing Revelations, and goodness. They. The building was just swaying back and forth, and they just went with it. And the audience is looking around, and pieces of confetti from a Spam-A-Lot 6 months ago were still,
they thought they were at Walt Disney, Smell-O-Vision or whatever, right?
It was, shaking things loose, and everybody was sort of nervous, but the dancers just kept going. It was amazing. They just keep going. And
what was the very first show you ever went to in your life, even as a kid?
Oh my gosh.
Performance.
That's a good, that is a question.
Since this is something that you do. Like, I look back at my first theatrical performance that I can recall as a kid. I saw Lily Tomlin's one-woman show in Chicago at a little theater in Chicago. Yeah, on her big rocking chair. Now that dates me. Ooh.
I would say so, because I
theatrical.
Sort of started. Okay, so theatrical. Well, I'm still going to give you a music answer to this, because it was Prince at Joe Louis Arena.
No way.
Yes. And
wow,
that to me was theatrical.
Absolutely.
I looked at the sound and the lights, and one person on stage with all of those people in a big arena. And I thought, how do you fill a stage like this?
Right.
It was incredible.
Such a little guy with such a huge he's huge
presence.
Yeah.
I know. But yeah, that's the thing. I didn't really get to go to a lot of performances when I was young. We used to listen to like cast albums like West Side Story and Camelot, and like all those like old ones, The Sound of Music,
of course.
Especially
my wife has anytime we see a gazebo, she runs to it and sings that scene.
You are 16.
Yes. Yeah. It just Doesn't matter where we're at, who we're with.
It's a good one.
Look out.
Yeah. I mean, it's the stuff.
It is.
But that was the thing. And, the theaters in Detroit were for profit. So they didn't do the bus shows.
Oh, okay.
We didn't really have arts in our school. We were a sports town. And so I didn't really have access to arts when I was a kid.
Okay.
It was not something my parents, my dad was a hockey coach and, they just didn't really, they liked the arts, but they didn't consider it like we have to expose our kids. And so, I didn't get to grow up with it. And so I think that's why like our student performances and our education experiences are so important to me because I look at these kids, I'm like, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. Don't get me wrong, but like, having that exposure when I was young, that would have really been life changing to me.
You bet.
And so, I want us to be able to do that for as many kids as possible.
So expand on that. You guys do a lot of educational outreach. What are some of those programs you have in place? How do you work with the diverse communities around Nashville?
Yeah, we do. And so proud of this work. And one of the reasons I think why I've always nonprofit's always been my jam because this has always been a priority, in a nonprofit organization to do this kind of work. And so we have 7+ programs. They're a variety of things, and we work across the state. So our education programs just in the past 5 years have reached 79% of the counties in Tennessee.
Wow.
So we do some virtual programming, we do in person, but we also have kids come from buses from other counties to come to TPAC. We go out into schools, our Disney musicals in schools. We actually go into the schools and we train the schools over a school year basically to put on a Disney musical, and then they perform it in their school, and then they get to do it every year. So it's like a sustaining theater program that you're creating in their own community, which is really special. And we expanded that program to Bedford and Coffee counties so that we can get into more of the rural communities. We have a Spotlight program, which is our musical theater program, and it's for high school kids. And we provide training and workshops year round. And then about 40 different schools participate. And then we have a competition at the end, and we send the male and female winner to New York to compete with other high schools that participate in this program. It's called the Jimmies. Yeah, when you get to New York. So it's a pretty special program, and they have their own, these kids that are in it have their own little cohort, and I think they have their own Instagram. I follow them. It's cute.
As they should.
Yes.
It's probably not Instagram anymore. It's probably like TikTok or WhatsApp or
Snap.
Or,
I don't know.
Something.
I don't snap, so I don't really know, but
I love it. Do you have anything in programs with the schools that expose them to your side of the business versus the production and all the creative on that side that they get to see what you do and how you do the business side of it all? And
we do.
The joy of building a parking lot, right? Or a parking deck. I mean,
it can be joyful.
Cool?
It can be joyful.
See? It's not just paving paradise and putting up a parking lot.
Heck no. It can be so joyful. But we have
gotta have a place to park.
That's right. It's important. Or take the bus. I'm a big bus fan too. So take
and
the bus.
Uber,
yes,
right? We love ride share
around
bicycles,
here. All the things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to get around. Scooter. Well, I'm not going to recommend scooters. I tripped over one.
We've tried the scooter thing.
Yeah. I enjoy the scooters.
He does. He does.
Knock the scooters.
Yeah, we have an internship program though. So we have kids. Kids, I shouldn't say that. We have students. We have
young adults.
Very young adults.
Scholastics.
Yes. They work with us and they get to work in different departments, and that's really fun. We have one right now, an intern, Josh, and he is fantastic. We actually also make him come to fancy events and sing songs for us because he's so good. But he went to, he was on tour with Jesus Christ Superstar, and now he's juggling auditions in New York.
Wow.
And so, his internship is, we have to revolve our internship around his auditions and all his opportunities, which we love. But yeah, and then people learn the business side of it too. We have interns in our front of house department, our backstage. We work with shows too. They're really good about letting us do stage management, shadowing, which is really fun.
Right.
We love working with like tech students and any kid that wants to learn about tech stuff. And yeah, and I do, talks to schools and different students and stuff like that if they want to learn about the stuff that I do. Some do, some don't.
Yeah. Now you've got experience at a lot of venues, a lot of different markets across the country. What are some of the things you think makes Nashville unique? What are some of the opportunities that Nashville offers over some of these other cultural hubs?
Because this is about Nashville's movers, shakers, taste makers, and you're like all three of those things.
Oh well,
come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely a shaker, I think.
Well, you're a tastemaker too. I mean, come on. You get to help pick the shows.
Yeah. No, so I think Nashville at its very core is a creative community. I mean, it's in the DNA. It's it's in the fabric of who we are as a community. And so I think, creativity also lends itself to innovation and problem solving and risk taking. So to have those kind of values sort of embedded in your community, I think makes it a great fit for, performing arts and artists and the creatives to really thrive. I think we have a lot that as a community, we have to have really candid conversations about, the growth and how we manage the growth and, what kind of opportunities and I think there's constant, discussion about old Nashville and new Nashville and what that looks like. But I think it's a great opportunity to sort of embrace, ideas. One of the things that I've been so appreciative of is, I come here with all this experience from different markets, but it means nothing, because I have to learn this community.
Right.
I can't impose something that is really California or really, Chicago on Nashville. And I wouldn't presume to do that. It's sort of, I have a great respect for each market I come into and really want to understand it and know it and be a part of it. And so the organization that I lead or that I work with in that market has to respond to, to Nashville and to Middle Tennessee and really to Tennessee. I mean, I'm surprised at our statewide outreach, surprised and delighted. We have ticket holders from every single county in the state of Tennessee. And, that's awesome. But we also have donors from 95% of the counties in Tennessee. And that to me is it's an investment in, we think that in Tennessee, the arts are important.
Right.
And we recognize TPAC's role in that. And so that means a lot to me. So I would say, this community, it's warm, it's welcoming, it's creative. It has, it's an expert in an industry that is so massive, like the music industry. I come from Detroit where it's the auto industry.
Sure.
The music industry it's wonderful. But it's just as complex and intricate and impactful as the auto industry.
Right.
It's just a different industry.
Yep. So, how were you received when you came? Did you experience Southern hospitality?
I sure did.
Good.
I sure did.
Good.
Yes. I've had people have been just so wonderful. They say that anyone will have coffee with you, and that's pretty true.
I think that's true.
Anyone will come do podcasts with you.
I know. How did that happen?
Look at me.
How do we get you anyway?
Back to you. No, it's been great, and I've loved getting to know people. It was hard, like with the pandemic, with everything shutting down, because when you're new, everybody's you're going to events and you're meeting people, and then all of a sudden that stops, and you have to look at them in a screen, and then you come out of pandemic, and it's like, did I meet you? And it's that you look kind of different, you're. You grew a beard or you
That's right. That's so true.
Everybody's got their pandemic look. So
that's so funny.
I'm curious of the programming. How much of it is sort of local talent versus like traveling performers?
So we we do. So TPAC presents a Broadway series, which is all like touring productions. And then we present touring dance from international dance series. Our theater comes from all over. Our education programs. So TPAC, we focus a lot on the touring, but then we're balanced out by our resident companies, the Nashville Rep, the Nashville Opera, and the Nashville Ballet, all of whom use TPAC as their performance home. So those are all local artists. So we have a really nice mix at TPAC. We also, TPAC itself hires teaching artists. So we hire artists to do smaller productions, to go out into the community, to work on our engagement programs. So it's a really nice mix. So it's kind of, we're from an economic perspective, we're supporting a great local artist ecosystem with our work, but we are also drawing in the cast of Hamilton, who will be here for 3 weeks, who will eat, drink, and tour, and sometimes bring their families to stay with them.
Cool.
And so there's a great, I think, economic impact from our artist itself.
Sure.
And then we draw about 30% of our audience from out of the driving distance. So we've got visitors coming in, and again, eating, drinking, going to hotel rooms. Just with our artists alone, we put anywhere, depending on the year, between like 5,500 and 8,000 hotel rooms into play in Nashville just to house our artists.
Mm-hmm. What are some of your long-term goals for TPAC?
I want to hear if she could have any production come to Nashville, what would it be?
Well, let me see. I mean, there's some things I'm working on, but I'm not going to break news.
What's like a big crazy one that you just think, oh, that would be amazing if we could have that someday? Whether or not you're working on it, so you can just say you're not even telling us whether or not
put
it's
it
on
out
the
in
list.
the universe.
Just putting it into the universe,
someone will make
into
it happen.
the Ethereum out there.
Okay, so there's a couple things. So we're building a new venue.
I heard.
And it's going to be a world-class performing arts center right on the East Bank, right off the pedestrian bridge.
Incredible.
So that is what we are working on. Right now, we are in the process of, increasing opportunities to see Broadway. So I think it would be, as we continue to get shows earlier, we're opening the national tour of Shucked, which is really amazing. I would love to there's a new Purple Rain, going back to Prince. There's a Purple Rain musical that's going to workshop in Minneapolis before it opens on Broadway. So I think it would be fun to get the opening national tour of Purple Rain in Music City. I think it would be fun to get like a big show workshop here before it goes to Broadway and get some attention. I heard Dolly's working on a musical.
That's exciting.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it would.
And I also think I think so much crossover. I love it when I see artists like to get involved in other kinds of projects. So it would be really fun to see some of our local music celebs maybe do a little Broadway or do some musical theater. I think that would be a lot of fun.
A little boot, scoot, and boogie.
Yeah, exactly.
What if you had your you could wave a magic wand? What are some of the things the community could do, I guess, better to work with you guys, the government? Like,
well, I want to say, first, we've had incredible support. The state has given us a grant to build the new Performing Arts Center. So every dollar that an individual or a corporation contributes, the state is matching that by $5.
Oh, wow.
So if you make a pledge to help us build the new TPAC, the state will match your donation by $5.
That's incredible.
Really incredible. So that is something, I mean, it's a fundraiser's dream to have that kind of
You need
match.
Vince Gill to go live on
I do.
on channel whatever, and he's really good at that.
Yeah, Vince, if you're listening,
put in your $100, it'll become $500. Yes.
That's right. Exactly. I mean, it's such a great, and the city as Metro has been fantastic working with us on our new location. So, really the support, the subscribers, when you subscribe to TPAC, that helps us get great shows early. It helps us build a great presence so we also can get things like the National Tour of Shuck that opens here. So all your investment, just buying a ticket, coming to a program, donating. If you want to volunteer, we always take volunteers as well. Our volunteers serve in a bunch of different capacities, but this is your performing arts center. We're here for this community. So, enjoy it. Partner with us. We are excited to be here and excited to serve.
How will the seating capacities change in the new location?
We're going to bump it up a little bit. The demand is there. So
what's it going to be?
Great. So we're looking at, right now we have about 2,400 in our largest theater, and we're looking at bumping that up to 26.
Wow.
It'll be exciting. And then we have a 1,000-seat theater and a black box. So we're looking at, again, another theater, probably a little bigger than our 1,000-seat, and then a flex space that could be anything, which is really exciting. I think that's going to be the interesting space, that, it can just be anything. And then there'll be little areas that we can create performance and stuff throughout the new venue, which is exciting.
What's the projected opening for the new venue?
We're working through that right now. I mean, we'd love to be open, I would say within 5 years is really where we're headed. So it depends on, how fast we can finish the design and secure everything, start construction, raise the money. All those things are in play.
Yeah, details.
Small details.
Well, for someone here that is interested in getting into theater or the arts or arts management, what's a piece of advice you would give to them?
I would say find an opportunity to do it and to actually experience it, like do an internship, get a part-time job, and find an organization. I do think TPAC is one that lets you try different things.
Right.
Especially, it's weird that I think that we expect kids, to know what they're going to be. I mean, I probably only wanted to be a lawyer because, I don't even know if Law and Order was on when I was young. But, I mean, you have an idea of what you want to do, but until you have the actual chance to sort of do it and practice it, I'm a big believer of having sort of on-the-job opportunities and learning. So as much exposure as we can give young people to careers and what it's like to work in these fields. So if you're interested, just get involved with an organization and see if there's opportunities to volunteer, intern, or work.
So if someone's interested in volunteering or internships or all the things that you guys offer, what's the best place for them to find
go
you?
to tpac.org, and there's an About Us section, I'm pretty sure. Do a search if not, and then you can look for opportunities to apply or email us about volunteer or get involved.
Awesome. Well, Jennifer, it has been an absolute pleasure.
It sure has.
It's been fun. I've enjoyed it.
It was painless, right?
Oh my gosh, it was so easy. I kind of don't want to be done. I thought we could sit here for a little while.
I think we should. Let's just do it again.
Well, we're looking forward.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to the coming lineup, and
thank you.
It was great having you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
We'll make sure this is the beginning of something special. This isn't the end.
Well,
right?
Thank you. Yes,
that's right.
Never the end.
Never.
This is the beginning. Thank you.
Love it. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next time. Well, that's a wrap on today's episode of Behind the Curtain, Nashville's movers, shakers,
and taste makers.
We hope you've been inspired by the stories of passion, perseverance, and innovation right here in Nashville.
A big thank you to our guests for sharing their journeys, and to you, our listeners, for joining us. And of course, our gratitude to Chord Real Estate for making this conversation possible.
Don't forget to follow or subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform.
Thank us.
Yes, you did.
Oh, I guess I did. Well, thank us. Okay.
Like I was saying.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget to follow or subscribe on your favorite platform to catch every episode, and hit that notification bell. We've got plenty more fascinating guests lined up, ready to share their insights and inspirations.
And we love hearing from you, so reach out to us with your thoughts, questions, or suggestions for who you'd like to hear from next.
Until next time, keep chasing your dreams and making your mark in Nashville.
Oh my goodness.
Remember,
Am I talking to Casey
it's
Kasem?
the people behind the scenes that make the city shine.
I love it. Take care. See you behind the curtain.